Most people live in normal houses, safe houses, houses that won't kill you. Then there are the houses that shouldn't exist. Houses built on cliff faces, houses in the middle of rivers, houses on active volcanoes, houses where you access them using rope and pray you don't fall. These aren't theoretical. They're real. People live in them, or have lived in them, and many of them have died trying. This is your complete breakdown of 5 of the most genuinely impossible houses on Earth. Not clickbait, not exaggerated, real dates, real deaths, real engineering that will make you question why these structures haven't collapsed yet. Let's go. Leahy Hunting Lodge, Iceland. The loneliest house in the world. This house doesn't just sit alone. It sits on an island that exists in one of the most violent, unpredictable stretches of the North Atlantic Ocean. The house itself is modest, a small wooden structure painted bright red, visible for kilometers across the dark water. It's the only building on the island. There are no neighbors for 10+ kilometers in any direction. What makes it impossible, the island is a sheer volcanic rock formation jutting directly from the ocean. No natural harbor, no pier, no docking facility. The rock walls are nearly vertical in places, covered in slick moss and algae that never fully dries. There is zero electricity, zero running water, zero plumbing, zero internet. The nearest anything is the main island, 10 kilometers away across open ocean. That regularly experiences 15-meter waves and rogue waves that exceed 20 meters. The wind here regularly exceeds 100 kilometers per hour. In winter, freezing fog completely blinds all navigation for days at a time. The temperature drops to -10 Celsius in winter. The wind chill makes it feel like -30. Who built it and when? The Leahy Hunting Association constructed this lodge in 1953. Their purpose, a seasonal base for hunting puffins, a tradition that continues today. But the island has a longer history. In the 18th and 19th centuries, five families actually lived here permanently. Raising cattle and fishing. By 1930, the last family abandoned the island. No one could endure permanent isolation. How to access it? You take a boat from the main island. When you arrive, there is no dock. There is no safe way to land. You must time a jump from the moving boat onto a wet cliff ledge while the boat bobs violently in the swells. If you miss, you fall into the North Atlantic. If you land, you then face a slick, nearly vertical manila rope secured to the cliff. You must climb this rope without safety equipment while wind gusts try to rip you from the rock face. The rope is wet. The rock is slick. People have fallen. People have died. Current status: active but extremely seasonal. The Hunting Association uses it exclusively for short hunting trips. It's not a public tourist site, despite internet rumors claiming Björk owns it or that a billionaire built it as a zombie apocalypse bunker. The reality: it's owned by locals who hunt puffins and occasionally allow researchers to study the island's seabird populations. Unique dangers: rogue waves that exceed normal wave patterns by 2-3 times, freezing fog that eliminates visibility entirely. Extreme wind shear that can physically blow a human off the cliff. Rapid weather changes from clear to life-threatening in under 30 minutes exposure to subarctic conditions with minimal shelter. The receipt: San Colombano Hermitage, Italy. The Cliff Monastery. This isn't a house. It's a religious structure carved directly into a vertical limestone cliff face. Suspended above a roaring river torrent that has carved its own canyon over millennia. What makes it impossible? The structure is carved into living rock. It's not built on a cliff, it's built from the cliff. The walls are limestone that forms the cliff itself. The floor is carved from stone. The roof is partially natural cave, partially constructed. The river below flows with enough force to create a constant roaring sound that echoes through the canyon. During spring snowmelt, the river rises dramatically. Sometimes flooding the base access path completely. The cliff face is nearly vertical. Some sections are actually overhanging. Meaning the upper portions lean outward over empty space. Who built it and when? Hermits began using a natural cave at this location around 753 AD. They were seeking isolation and spiritual enlightenment. They found both, along with extreme hardship. In 1319, the cave was officially expanded with structural additions, walls, a small living space, and religious areas. This was done by hand, using primitive tools, while working on a vertical cliff face 120 meters above a canyon floor. How to access it? You navigate a narrow pathway along the cliff edge. This pathway is maybe 1 meter wide. The drop is 120 meters to rocks below. Then, you climb 102 steps. These steps are carved into the living stone. They're narrow. They're steep. There's no handrail. Wind comes directly into the cliff face and tries to blow you off. Current status: maintained as a historical and religious site. It's occasionally open to visitors via local volunteers who manage access. It's still used for religious purposes occasionally. Special ceremonies, pilgrimages, unique dangers. Rock falls from the cliff above. Sudden cliff collapses. Structural shift of the building away from the cliff bedrock. Flash floods from the gorge below that cut off the base path. Lightning strikes when storms approach. The steps themselves deteriorate over time. Tragic backstory. According to legend, a massive dragon lived in the cave and killed local infants until Saint Columbanus arrived and defeated it. Historical reality. Hermits lived there in complete freezing isolation for centuries. Many died alone from exposure. Their bodies were sometimes discovered weeks later because no one could reach them during bad weather. One hermit died in winter during a particularly severe storm. His body wasn't found until spring when the snow melted. He had been frozen in the cave for over 4 months. Casa del Arbol, Ecuador. The volcano outpost this is famous for the swing at the end of the world. A swing attached to a tree that swings you out over a 300-meter gorge with a live volcano as your backdrop. But the real story is far darker. What makes it impossible? The structure is a small wooden seismic monitoring station built in the branches of a massive tree. The tree grows on a mountain ridge that directly faces Tungurahua volcano, an extremely active stratovolcano that erupts regularly. The station sits at approximately 2,600 meters elevation. The volcano is taller but closer. On clear days, you can see the crater. On less clear days, you're literally inside the volcano's ash cloud. Tungurahua means fire mountain in the indigenous Quechua language. It's called that for a reason. This volcano has been in nearly continuous eruptive activity for 20+ years. Who built it and when? Built by Carlos Sanchez, a local military veteran in 1999. Sanchez wasn't trying to create a tourist attraction. He was trying to save lives. Current status: the town of Baus eventually was reoccupied. The volcano continued erupting, but at lower intensity. The monitoring station became famous internationally, especially after social media discovered the swing at the end of the world. Now it's a massive tourist attraction. Thousands of people come annually to swing over the gorge while the volcano smolders in the background. Carlos Sanchez still lives in the area and occasionally visits the station. Unique dangers: volcanic ash, fine particulate that can destroy lungs and machinery, pyroclastic flows, the most deadly volcanic phenomenon. Superheated gas and rock at 700 Celsius, moving at 100+ miles per hour. Lahars, volcanic mudslides. Sudden seismic tremors that can shake the structure loose. Toxic volcanic gases that displace oxygen. Lava flows. The real danger: the swing is famous, the gorge is dramatic, but the actual danger is the volcano itself. This isn't a house on a cliff. This is a house in the direct line of fire of an active stratovolcano. Guoliang Tunnel Village, China. The cliff-dwelling marathon. This isn't just a house. This is an entire village carved into a vertical cliff face. Over 50 households living in homes built into the side of a mountain that has no natural access to the rest of civilization. What makes it impossible? The village sits at the absolute peak of a vertical red sandstone cliff. Before 1977, the only way to reach it was the sky ladder. 720 stone steps carved into the cliff with no handrails or safety equipment. People climbed these steps carrying supplies, water, everything they needed. One slip meant falling 200 meters to the rocks below. Who built it and when? The village itself is centuries old. People have lived on this cliff for generations. But the modern tunnel access was hand-carved by 13 local villagers led by Shen Mingkai between 1972 and 1977. How they built it, the story that will break your mind. For 5 years, 13 men hand-carved a 1.2-kilometer tunnel directly out of solid red sandstone cliff rock. They used primitive explosives, 4-ton hammers, and steel chisels. They worked while hanging from ropes over a 200-meter vertical drop. No safety equipment, no harnesses, just ropes and prayer. During construction, villagers died in blasting accidents. At least 3 confirmed deaths, likely more that were never officially recorded. Men fell from ropes. Men were crushed when rocks fell unexpectedly. The tunnel took 5 years to complete. That's 2 kilometers carved by hand in 1,800 plus days. That's less than 70 centimeters per day, by hand, on a vertical cliff face. Current status. The tunnel is now complete and maintained. The village is occupied by about 200 residents. It's heavily touristed, especially after the story went viral on social media. You can now walk through the tunnel in about 20 minutes. It's wide enough for 2 people to walk side by side. The floor is relatively level. It's surprisingly well maintained. But look at the walls. You'll see tool marks from 50 years of hand carving. You'll see places where the rock is softer and easier to work. You'll see places where harder stone required extra effort. The entire tunnel is a museum of human determination and sacrifice. Unique dangers. Sheer drops with no structural barriers at the cliff entrance, frequent mountain landslides. The cliff is unstable. Structural collapse of the hand-carved tunnel. Flash floods during heavy rains. Rock falls from above. The river house on the Drina, Serbia, the Resilience Monument. This is the most famous impossible house on social media. It's a small wooden cabin balanced on a tiny jagged rock formation sitting directly in the middle of a fast-flowing river. It looks photogenic. It looks whimsical. It looks like something from a fairy tale. The reality is brutal. What makes it impossible? The house is built on a rock that's maybe 10 meters across. The rock is surrounded by water flowing at strong current speeds. The river is volatile and unpredictable. The rock itself is sharp, jagged points of stone that barely provide stable footing. The structure is entirely wooden. There's no concrete, no anchoring system that could be considered modern. Just wood beams trying to stay balanced on a rock in the middle of a river. Who built it and when? Started by a group of teenage swimmers led by Malaysia Mondi in 1968 as a sunbathing platform. Nothing more sophisticated than teenagers wanting a place to sit in the sun without having to climb on banks. By 1969, they upgraded it to a full shed. Over decades, it evolved into something resembling a small cabin. Access only by boat, kayak, or swimming through dangerous river currents. There's no bridge, no dock, no safe way to reach it except by water and a lot of risk. Current status, it's become a local cultural icon and international tourist landmark. People come from across Europe to photograph it. The locals have embraced its fame. Unique dangers, seasonal flooding that regularly destroys the structure, completely rapid current that can sweep away anyone attempting to swim to it, slippery rocks that guarantee falls. If you try to climb from boat to house hypothermia, the water is freezing even in summer. Complete isolation. No rescue services can reach you if something goes wrong. The real story, what makes this remarkable? This house has been completely destroyed and washed away by massive river floods over 7 different times. Every single time it was destroyed, the locals returned to the rock and rebuilt it. Sometimes it took weeks to rebuild. Sometimes it took months. But they rebuilt it stronger each time, learning from previous failures. The original beams were simple wood. After the first flood, they reinforced them. After the second, they anchored the wooden beams directly into the stone core, using primitive but effective methods. After the 7th destruction, they rebuilt it again with even more sophisticated engineering. The house that stands there now is the result of 50+ years of iterative learning through repeated failure and rebuilding. It's not just a house, it's a monument to human stubbornness. to refusal to accept that nature will stop you. Every reconstruction represents local people saying, no, we're rebuilding this. Conclusion: why these places exist, these houses exist for one reason. Humans don't accept impossible as an answer. A man builds a house on a rock in the middle of a river. A river floods and destroys it. He rebuilds it. Again, 7 times. Villagers need access to their isolated community. 13 men spend 5 years hand-carving a tunnel through solid stone while hanging from ropes over a 200-meter drop. A military veteran stays behind to monitor a volcano while his entire town evacuates, living in a wooden structure directly in the volcano's line of fire. These aren't impossible houses. They're testaments to human refusal to accept natural limitations. They're monuments to stubbornness, determination, and the absolute refusal to accept that geography, weather, or physics should stop you from living where you want to live. Every impossible house on Earth exists because someone decided the impossible was just inconvenient.